What's going on, everyone? It's Azor Hype here today. Super excited to be hanging out with you, and it's still in Dorton, California. I hope you all are having a fantastic day wherever you are in the world. Sorry about the little bit of the wait. There was some sirens on in the background, but yeah, today I thought we would talk about a little bit of the news that um, has come out about the prequels. There's a little bit of casting news that has come around, and Game of Thrones season 8 news has been lacking. So this is something definitely that could be a little bit fun today, and I don't know. Let's speculate a little bit. I mean, there's not a ton to go on, but I think there's like 5 or 6 different castings, and there's a little bit more information about who's doing these castings in the new series with Jane Goldman. So we got Maura Lee here today. We got Chris Weinberger, Jenny of Coldstone, Carol Brown. Taking a break from watching some NFL games. Yeah, I was checking out the one this morning in London. My Eagles finally won a game. Got Richard Hoppy. We got Otilla Angel, Nurse Freak, John Haymaker, Mandolin, Daisy Kowalczykowski, and of course Maura Lee, who just upped her pledge on Patreon. So thank you, Maura Lee, for that. Really, really appreciative of all of your amazing support. We have King McKay in the chat, Eagle Tattoo, Jessa, Wells Woman, and yeah. So anything to really talk about to keep us getting hype is a good thing. JR was actually supposed to join me today. I couldn't get a hold of him, so it'll just be me today. And yeah, let's chat. There's some actually casting news here on Watchers on the Wall. But let's talk a little bit first about who's going to be making these casting choices. And let's start with that. Her name is Lucinda Sison. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. And she is a casting director, and she's worked on multiple projects, including Blade Runner 2049, Wonder Woman is something that she worked on. She's working on casting in Wonder Woman 1984. She's working with Jane Goldman, of course, for Game of Thrones The Long Night, Mission Impossible 5, Edge of Tomorrow, which is another one, Gravity, Furious 6, Kick-Ass, which she worked with Jane Goldman at the time. Cloud Atlas is another one she helped also cast. Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit. She helped cast some of the show River, TV miniseries. The Alienist, she's helped cast that. She's helped cast Aladdin, which is going to be coming out sooner than later. Holmes and Watson, which is going to be, I believe, Will Ferrell is going to be in that one. And yeah, so she's been part of many different castings. And Jane Goldman has a lot of experience in Hollywood, and George R. Martin himself has been outspoken about how talented she is. So, but this is good news. Lucinda Sison, we've been actually spoiled on the show by Nina Gold, who has done a terrific job on Game of Thrones so far, and it looks like we're going to be getting spoiled again as far as casting director goes. For Game of Thrones The Long Night. So yeah, that is good news. She's worked on a ton of great films. She's working on some good upcoming ones, upcoming films as well. Like Wonder Woman is going to be great. Wonder Woman 1984, and all sorts of. When HBO is going to be hiring someone, that they try to hire the best people, and this certainly is the case as well. Pardon me, I had a big yawn there. Seth Nico says Blade Runner 2049 and Edge of Tomorrow were great films. Yeah, I'm definitely in agreement there. Definitely, she has some cred. She has some cred for sure. And I think next year, while we talk about this, we know that they're going to be starting filming in February of 2019 for Game of Thrones The Long Night, which is really exciting. They're starting to film the pilot and do all of that. How long that takes, we don't know exactly, but that's exciting. And next year is going to be a huge year for movies. I mean, there's 3 huge Marvel blockbusters coming out next year. There's Star Wars, so there's certainly a lot to talk about. And Game of Thrones, definitely. Game of Thrones season 8 is something that we have to be excited for next year, obviously. Nicola says, do you think we'll see what Winterfell looks like? You mean in the past, Nicola? Yeah, I definitely think so. I think that Winterfell is going to be one of those things that is definitely focused on. Let's actually go back to what the first announcement of the prequel. It says, taking place thousands of years before the events of Game of Thrones, the series chronicles the world's descent from the golden age of heroes into its darkest hour. And only one thing is for sure, from the horrifying secrets of Westeros, the history of Westeros, to the true origin of the White Walkers, the mystery of the East to the Starks of legend, it's not the story that we think we know. So a lot of stuff is going to be flipped on its head, I believe, in this show. And we're going to see that, like, the Starks are, we have this positive perception of House Stark, and obviously from what we've learned through Game of Thrones, the TV show, and A Song of Ice and Fire, the books, there's definitely going to be some big changes because we don't know all the history. There's that like missing 8,000 year period that we don't really know about. So whether they're just going to focus like one season on if they're going to do time jumps, kind of like Vikings, like after a certain big plot point happens within Vikings, they do a time jump. And by the way, everyone, I don't know if all of you know, if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook or on Twitter, I posted yesterday, I actually got to meet one of the actors from Vikings in Santa Monica Beach yesterday. His name is Alexander Ludwig, and he plays Bjorn in Vikings. I got to get a picture with him. So if you don't follow me on Instagram or Twitter, at Hype, you can see a picture of me he was literally on a scooter with his girlfriend in downtown part of LA. So go check that out. But yeah, so let's get to the casting calls and let's start to discuss that a little bit, and then we'll kind of discuss a little bit more of Game of Thrones: The Long Night, why it's exciting that Con of Thrones is happening more than likely after Game of Thrones season 8 next year, and in between or before when the Long Night happens. We're going to talk a little bit about that and why that's a good thing. Okay, so let's go to this casting news. I'm going to share this with everyone. Let's do a screen cap. Let's go here. So I can share the actual. So I won't be on screen for just a second here, everyone. I won't be able to see if there's any donations in chat or anything like that. But I will be sharing this article written by Sue the Fury from Watchers on the Wall. So just give me a sec here. Let's do this. Okay, so here it is. More castings afoot for the Game of Thrones spinoff, driven by Sue the Fury. If you want to go show her some love, definitely go do that. She has an awesome website at Watchers on the Wall. HBO has been extremely tight-lipped. The news regarding its Game of Thrones spinoff reported to be centered around the Long Night. Last month, a handful of casting notices were laid, tipping off fans that the network is seeking a more diverse group of talent for the new show. The castings continue this month with a fresh batch happening right now, and Watchers on the Wall has the descriptions right here. As in September, the new info comes courtesy of a Norwegian site for actors, gathering with descriptions from Spotlight's casting calls. The site has been updated with more roles. So the latest ones were posted on October 24th, and the window for them closes at November 17th. HBO will reportedly start filming in February 2019, so there should be some more roles there. So these roles are encoded. So B3, which is a male 52. Oh, sorry. Way down here. I know I did that. B3, male 50 to 63 years old, series regular, is playing ages of a 50-year-old actor between in his 50s, a black actor. So possibly we could be getting someone in the Far East, maybe perhaps in Essos, or more maybe in Southeros or something like that, which would be kind of surprising if they did that. W, it's titled W, male 37 to 45 years old, playing age late 30s to mid 40s, Caucasian actor. Then we have E, a male 30 to 38 years old, series regular, playing an age of 30s, genuine Scandinavian, Germanic, or Eastern European. So that's really interesting. V2, male 49 to 58 years old, series regular, playing ages 50 in the 50s, genuine Scandinavian, Germanic, or Eastern European. So maybe part of the same family. Female, 31 to 34 years old, series regular, playing early 30s, Caucasian actress. And M3, female, 28 to 31 years old, series regular, playing late 20s, Caucasian actress. So let's speculate a little bit about that, everyone. There's going to be an interesting mix, which is great. Apparently, there's going to be more of the Eastern plotline. They're going to be doing more ice and fire balance within the show. So if we do take a look at Game of Thrones, yes, we do have a plot line within Essos and Daenerys and whatnot, but there's King's Landing and Winterfell and the Wall, and so it's mostly in Westeros. But this one looks like it might be divided up a little bit more. So that is pretty exciting. It says genuine Scandinavian, Germanic, or Eastern European. So if we are going back to the Age of the Heroes, that's going to be really interesting. Seeing if they're really going to what time period they're going to be doing it. Is it going to be when the first men arrive, and we're going to have the battles between the children of the forest and the first men? Is it going to be the Andals, which come after that, a long time after that? Is there going to be the Pact? Is it going to be during that time period? Let's speculate. Like, when is this actually going to really go down? So, what do we think about that? And also, let's talk a little bit about the East. What may be happening over there as well. Let's get chat. Let's get chat hype right now. Let's see some of your suggestions and what everybody is thinking in chat with this casting news. I know it's not much, but so Doug says 8,000 years ago, first men versus White Walkers. Ooh, I like the sounds of that. Daisy Kowalczykowski says we need some more flavor and agrees that we need some diversity, more diversity within the show. Carol Brown says yes to the Five Forts. Ooh, so you see the Long Night is happening on both fronts, and not only Westeros but Essos as well. Yep. Tim S said it would be awesome to see a Shy. Oh, yeah, I mean the Shadowlands would be amazing, right? Getting more of that mysterious background in that region that we don't really know about. That'd be awesome. Jenny of Coldstone says Scandinavian probably means lots of Targaryens. Yeah. So blonde hair, blue eyes. That'd be interesting that and also Vikings, Norway, Sweden, that kind of culture. So maybe we're seeing more of that too. But Jenny of Coldstone, Scandinavians probably mean lots of Targaryens. Yep. Maybe the show will be more focused on the East and have a few scenes in Westeros. Yeah, that's something that we could definitely maybe see. Essos, we want to see more of Essos. People are saying in the chat. German-like people sounds like more Valyrian people. The ET Empire, says Michael Smith. Q&A Scandinavians could be playing early Lannisters then as well. Maybe Lamb the Clever. Yep. That's something that we can possibly look forward to. Ooh, the start of the Dothraki people as well. Yeah, we can see maybe the origins of the Dothraki. And what would be amazing is the inception of these ideas that spouted all of these different religions, seeing the start of that, the person that was behind these ideas, that inception, that is something that is incredibly unique, right? That we don't usually get a lot in movies and whatnot. That first original person to be inspired and inspire other people. Faceless Man origin as well would be awesome. I agree with that, Tubbs. A Shy? Ooh. The Rise of Valyria, says Wesley. Yeah, there was apparently a rumored leak that there's going to be they're working on another couple of prequels, and one of them was The Rise of Valyria, or it was set in more of like the downfall and the political kind of maneuvering period towards the end of the rule of the Targaryens, or not the Targaryens, but the Dragon Empire before the Targaryens left for the Doom. Hey, Nameless Hero Man, I just love you. Just love to listen to you during studying. Hey, thank you. Really, really appreciate that. Like I said, I was supposed to have a special guest today, but it's just me. So hopefully that is good enough for you. I'm out here still in California. I got another week here until I leave. So 7 more days until I return to the lands of always winter. I get hard back to work for all of you and myself. I'm excited to get back to work. I'll be doing my regularly edited, scheduled edited videos. Lots of that coming. And like I said, Last Kingdom and Vikings are coming back. So excited to be covering that as well. Carol Brown says the discovery of the dragons. Ooh, you think they're going to go back that far, Carol? That would be amazing. getting more of the origins of the dragons as well. And they're like they're born on volcanoes or those types of environments and whatnot. Getting to see that would be really cool. Tubb says, "Do you want the prequels to be sci-fi fantasy?" I mean, it's going to be fantasy. Ooh, Maura Lee with the donation. By the way, let's show some love for Maura Lee. She just upped her Patreon pledge by $10 this morning. So thank you very much, Maura Lee. Really, really appreciate that. She makes a $20 donation. She says Volantis and the Temple of R'hllor origins. Ooh. So yeah, that is something that is very interesting, right? That we don't know a ton about. And Shadowbinders and perhaps we'll see the original no one who's working in the slave mines of Valyria. It's a possibility that we see that. Also that we see I mean, if there is going to be time jumps and whatnot, that is something that we could possibly see. But the early beginnings of ice and fire religions, what people are what people are first incepting these religions and these ideas. Hell yeah, Mora. I really do think we're going to get a lot of that. When it does say in the original first teaser that we get in the news, like, in all these different articles that are talking about the prequel, it does talk about the mysteries of the Far East. So perhaps we will get, more of that balance. Like I said, more of that ice and fire balance. Yes. The Citadel, like the first beginnings of the Citadel in Westeros and Old Town. Ooh, Nicola, that is a great comment. That is something that could be really exciting, don't you? I mean, chat, seeing the beginnings of Old Town and the original collection of books that were first stored in the library at Old Town, the High Towers and all of that. Maura Lee is one of the bosses of the chat. Carol Brown, Maura Lee, Karen Richmond, Helen, always so generous, all of you. Do you think we'll see Melisandre back then? No, I mean, she's not that old. This is going to be set like 8,000 to 10,000 years in the past in a Song of Ice and Fire history. Tom says, I always feel like the origins of the Citadel were wizards versus scientists. So kind of the magic versus, scientific thought going on. We can maybe see some sort of political intrigue going on there, some infighting and stuff like that, some scheming. I could definitely see that happening. That could be in like another faction that they really focus on, because the Maesters, they have more information than we know, right? There's definitely a ton more information at the Citadel. It's just hiding in there. The foundation of deceptive Baelor. Yeah, see, now there's a debate in chat. It's like, I'd rather see Valyria ET in a Shy than Old Town. There's quite a lot of thought on what people would really like to see, because there was those rumors out there that there was going to be another show that was pretty much confirmed to be in its infancy, or not infancy, but they were getting close to being filming the pilot, and it was getting close to that point. But that is not confirmed. The whole Valyrian prequel. Garth the Green Hand and as many. Yeah, so this is an interesting question. Anime Lover says, will we see Garth the Green Hand? It's possible that we see Garth the Green Hand, Bran the Builder, Lan the Clever, kind of the original rulers of each region of Westeros, right? So during God's Grief, the Grey King, getting all of those characters and seeing how they truly were back in the day, because we don't have a ton of information on those characters, right? Some people think that Dragon Lords visited Westeros before the Targaryens. Would love to see that. Chris Weinberger. Anyone ever see Ralph Bashki animation classic Wizards is based on science versus magic? Ooh, that sounds pretty interesting. See, this time period is definitely going to be more focused on, Winterfell. I mean, old Winterfell. I think What would be really interesting is if we got to see these old castles that were being built, right? Like Winterfell and Storm's End and stuff like that, getting more history and kind of news on all of that. Chris Weinberger says, I kind of don't want to see Land the Clever. I like the mystery behind him swindling Casterly Rock. So yeah, and people have these ideas of these characters, and then getting an actual image of them that can lead to disappointment. But I mean, come on, who wouldn't want to see Land the Clever? I would. Sign me up. Some people that Land the Clever, it could be a woman, actually. Some interesting theories behind that. Seth Nico says, I hope we get a bit of season one nostalgia in the prequel, where it was all scheming and plotting and have it set off certain things. Yeah, that is definitely something that I want to see. The first harpy. Yep. Tubb says, I mean, what did they say? The story we know is not the real story. So what story do we know that can be the real story? Yeah, I mean, they need to shed light on the actual history of Westeros, right? Because if we're not getting all of the information, then we need to see it. As a Song of Ice and Fire junkies, we demand it. If they make this prequel, they might make more. I think they're going to make more than one. I mean, just Game of Thrones, the name is so profitable. Jeez, they're going to do big things. A visit to the Summer Isles and Southros in those regions. Yeah, I think we could. I think we're going to probably see that, Carol. James Brown said it would be great to see the Children of the Forest use their magic to call down the Hammer of the Waters, and what price was paid for it. So yeah, more of that type of stuff within the story. Isle of the Faces is morally is 100% something we need to see, whether it's in Game of Thrones season 8 or whether it's in the prequel. We need to see that, like all of these different trees and just the history behind what happened there, like like how, like why is there so many weirwood trees on the Isle of Faces? Right? How did that start out? Like, let's see the inception of that. Let's see the beginnings of all of that. Chris Weinberger says, yes, I want to see the other continents. Hammer of the Waters was an event caused by the Children of the Forest, Chris Weinberger. If you go research that, damn. Yeah, Carol Brown, the actual origin of the weirwood tree, right? Like, let's see the origin of the very first weirwood tree. How crazy amazing would that be? That would be something that would be incredibly unique. Like, was there magic behind it? As a child of the forest turned into weirwoods? Do like, is that like their form of afterlife? Do they become weirwood trees, children of the forest? Because look at how they were depicted as within the show, right? I mean, they had like roots and leaves on them and stuff like that. When they die, is it kind of like planting a seed, and that's their second life? Inception of the Green Seers, morally, yep. Need to see that as well. Daisy Kowalczykowski says, as long as they're making multiple prequels, doesn't mean half-assing any of them. I'd rather have one really cool one. Yeah, I think they're gonna nail it. I'm excited. I mean, I'm just excited for more Thrones. Period. I just want more Thrones. I hope we get to see more. Seth Nico says, I hope we get to see more of the places that we're never really mentioned in the show. Yeah, we're rarely. Sorry. Yeah, the original Ironborn, so the Grey King. Yeah, there's a pretty good consensus among all of you right now. Like, okay, what is the number one thing you would like to see in specifically the Long Night prequel? What is the number one thing? What everybody in chat? How many people are in chat right now? There's quite a few. How many people want to see the inception of the Night King? what his true identity is. The Ice Queen? Ooh, ice spiders. Anime Lover says number one, Brandon the Builder. Brand the Builder, the Night King, Sammy V, well, welcome. The Starks, more on the Starks. The Night King. I can't choose, says Daisy. A lot of people seem to be really enamored by the Starks in the northern plot line, right? The Starks, the Wolves, the Night Fort. Ooh, yeah, the creepy Night Fort stories, like what was actually going down at the Night Fort. White Walker natural birth. Explain on that, B Badger. What does that mean? There's a little lizard. Oh, this is the first time I've seen one. He's so tiny. There's a mini dragon, everyone. So Seth Nigo, I would actually like to see the original Long Night last for multiple seasons and make it have an apocalyptic fantasy feel to it. That could be really interesting. So make the show like very dark. That's kind of interesting. Like literally dark, meaning there's lots of night filming and it's a dark show. UG Young says, I would want to see all the creatures of the animals that are extinct in Westeros now. That'd be cool. The Rat Cook's Curse, says Carol Brown. Chris Weinberg says, I feel like Valyria would be a stretch because it's so expensive to make dragons. Yeah, I think this one is mostly going to be, even though there's going to be mysteries of the East and whatnot, this one's going to be more focused on, Shy and perhaps, some of the other empires that are over there, the Shadowlands, and then the origins of the Starks and the Lannisters and the Greyjoys and the Baratheons. The building of the wall, says Morley. Yes. The original Night's Watch. What was going on there? There's a lot of mystery behind that. And if they're saying that this is not the story that we know, then what are we missing? What's the actual story? Like, we need to know. Oh my God. This is how much news there is in the Game of Thrones world right now. We have quite a bit of time until the long night, but we are really missing Thrones, aren't we, everyone in chat? The origins of the house words. Yes. Carol, that's a great comment. The origins of the Night's Watch saying why they say that. Yes. Would love to see that. What if the original Night's Watch were White Walkers? Like, yeah, like twists like that, right? Nikolai, I know you brought this up last stream, but how the Horn of Winter is used and got broken. Perhaps, yeah, we might see that. That might be something that they might include. House Dane is something that a lot of people have mentioned. I mean, we don't know their true house words. Maybe we'll get to see Dawn, how Dawn was made, and what Dawn is all about. Maybe that's why it's not as glamorous in the regular Game of Thrones series. I don't know. Maybe it will be something that's super special, that blade. More on the first birth of the dragons. Ooh. Origins of all the oaths, people are saying. Danny Flint and the 13th Lord Commander, says Anime Lover. Bale the Bard. House Dane is one that really intrigues me because the Sword of the Morning and all of their history, being one of the great houses. The discovery of Valyrian steel. Ooh, that's pretty interesting, Carol. Chris Weinberger says, I'm excited for this show, but if they don't give us the origin of the Night King in Game of Thrones Season 8, I'll be pretty bummed. Maybe we'll find out he's not the original Night King. Thoughts? Yeah, there's going to be a twist there. I do think that we're going to get the original backstory of who that person was. Um, if that is the original Night King or not, I definitely think that we're going to see that. I don't think they'll give us everything. Some of the stuff can be explained within the prequel, but they have to tell us about who that person was and whatnot. Otherwise, I mean, get what's happening with the White Walkers won't have as much meaning, won't have as much impact. So we definitely need to see that. George R. R. Martin says House Dane's words are a huge spoiler. Exactly. Nobody really knows the true House Dane words. We need his motivations, Carol Brown says, why he is taking down Westeros. I'm in complete agreement there. Children of the Forest, the Night King. I think those are huge things that we need to learn about. Also, the origins of House Stark and what's going on there. Those are things that we definitely need to learn about. Let's take a vote in chat. What is the most important thing that we have to see in the prequels? Like, what if you could pick one thing? What is the most important thing that they have to show us? I think what we are told in Game of Thrones might be different than what we see in the prequel because the history changes over time. Yeah, I mean, history does change over time, and the telling of history changes things, and people who carry on and write things or pass down stories through generations, that's going to be a little bit different. So Jenny of Coldstone says, the origin of the White Walkers is the most important thing that we got to see. The first Night King? You think there have been at least two? Chris Weinberger? Okay. So there's been more than one Night King? Nicola says the invasion of the Andals is the most important thing that we need to see. Tycat says the mythology is used. I think a gemstone emperor's timeline is important. So what's going on in the East? Yep. So the five forts, all of that could be really important. We get more of that origin of that story because mainly we're focused on Westeros in A Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire. Morley says the pact between the first men and the children. Ooh. The pact? Okay. There's a couple more for the pact here. Children of the Forest says Linda Smith and the story of the White Walkers. I think a lot of people are in agreement that. Yeah, I think for me it would be like the history of the Night King. I would like to see the origins of the first weirwood tree. Like what's going on there? The weirwood trees are definitely not the same as other trees. They are special trees. They are special trees. What if the original Green Seers also awakened the dragons from the Shadowlands, A Balance of Ice and Fire? That is certainly a possibility. 13th Lord Commander and the Night Queen, The Age of Heroes. I also think the prequel will make us fall in love with the Night King before we ever realize that's who he will turn out to be. So we'll get to know that character, and then that character who's like lovable and nice and awesome, or that we can associate ourselves with, becomes the Night King. Yeah, something like that, right? That will humanize the Night King. So we find out who the Night King is. And it would be interesting. Would they use the same casting is the question, right? Because they've changed people who play the Night King around and whatnot. So are they going to give us a flashback in Game of Thrones season 8 first of all, and then in the prequel is it going to matter because that person is going to be younger or it's going to be that same person? That would be really interesting because casting is always a thing, right? Like but in the original series that isn't the Night King, There's always people that want to kind of connect that. Ooh, Carol says the first three-eyed raven. The creation of Bravos could be really interesting to see as well, Nicola. Hell yeah. So the Night King will be the hero of the prequel, and then we'll turn it, and then he ends up getting made into the Night King, and then we'll be like, oh my god, damn. You kind of like that Breaking Bad moment where it's like, oh. And then that'll kind of enlighten, and it will enrich the original series. That'll be awesome too. Cast consistency makes us happy, says Tycat. Oh yes. Eugene Young says I would like to know how the Wildling King died, if it was from blowing that horn. Seth Nico says, what if the Night King is actually the good guy in the show? Yeah, that's crazy, right? Seven Hells, I want all the stories, says Otilla Angel. Creation of the Citadel. You bet Leaf will be in the series. Ooh. So that'd be interesting. We have more factions, like Children of the Forest and other factions in the beginning that we'll get to see POVs on. That'll be cool. The Night King is pre-Walter White. I love that. So I have a couple of videos that I've been working on, everyone. So I'm going to let everyone vote in the chat on what they would like to see next. So I got a new What If series. The first one that I was going to do was what if Sandor Clegane gets a Valyrian steel blade, but I can certainly do another what if to start off the series. But since Sandor is one of my favorite characters, we could kind of start off with that. Also, I have a video that I've been working on is making the case for why Game of Thrones Season 8 will be great. Or I could do something else. So I would like to hear in chat kind of what you would like to see next, because I've been working on a few different videos. Which one you would like to see next on the channel? Would you like to see would you like me to start my what if series, where I do more speculation and stuff like that and present something like these open-ended possibilities? Would you like to see me do a presentation on why I think Game of Thrones Season 8 is going to be great? Or would you want something else next? Sandra did say he always wanted himself some Valyrian steel. Hell yeah. So the What If series doesn't have to be Sandor to start off with, but yeah, I feel like What If will be a really fun series. Everybody loves Sandor Clegane, so even if it's just a video on Sandor that everyone wants. We're just trying to remain hyped during the long night, Stutley. We were just talking a little bit about some casting news for the prequels. We got there's a few castings that are going down, and then it looks like the pilot's going to film in February. So that would be a great name for Sandor's blade, by the way, Daisy. George did say the ending is in the first book, and it's pretty obvious. The what ifs I want to do, Anime Lover, are not more about the past. I don't want to do a lot of what ifs on the past. I want to do like what if in the future this happens and how will this affect this? Because I think the what if in the past stuff has been done quite a bit. And I want to do my what if series a little bit differently. I want to do more like, what if this person gets this, or what if this person learns this and does, like, what are all the possibilities, and why would George make this happen, and if this does happen, what are the consequences? Well, and that's the Ouroboros effect that George is using as well, right? I mean, history tends to repeat itself within the Song of Ice and Fire. I mean, look at the House Targaryen sigil, okay? There's three heads competing to eat its own tail. So that's something that's really interesting. Obviously, the hero's journey is very circular in nature. So that is something that we need to look at. And if we look at life and death, they both connect. If we do a full circle, coming full circle, life and death. So that is something that is really interesting that we need to look at. But George did say that a lot of his answers are within the first book. I want to, yeah. So my what if series is going to be more speculative and more like, you know, just based on things that may happen and presenting the case for that, and why George or why the showrunners would do this and presenting that case. That's going to be what my what if series. But everybody has decided. Everybody's down for the what ifs. The what if series is next. What if Hodor lived? Yeah, I want to do it more in like future events, more what if this happens, instead of like what if this didn't happen in the past. I mean, not really all about that, because I mean, can't change the past, right? I'm going back. So Barcy the Bearded. I'm actually going back to the lands of always winter in a week. I'm going back to Canada in a week. What if Olenna lived? That can maybe be one. Yeah, the Bat Productions does a lot of what if, like, what if this happened in the past. I want mine to be like more speculative and stuff like that. So Dorne, like, what if Dorne? Yeah, like Dorne could be something that we could talk about. There's not like a ton on that. What if on Arya's future? What if on Daenerys survives the story? What if on Daenerys doesn't surviving the story? What if Jon survives the story? What if Daenerys doesn't survive the story? All of these, like, different types of what ifs. Right. And there's tons of possibilities for each one, Tie Cat, and they all come with different consequences. And that's something that I really want to talk about on the channel. And we got so much time until Thrones season 8. Like, it's probably going to come out in April. So doing all of that, like, what if Sansa becomes queen? What if Tyrion um, ends up betraying Daenerys? Um, what if Jon has to actually sacrifice Daenerys like Azor Ahai? What if Bran turns out to be enabling the White Walkers? What if Jaime Lannister survives the Song of Ice and Fire? There's so many possibilities, right? Like, what if Gendry becomes legitimized, like you're saying in chat? What if the Night King is actually not as bad as we think? What if um what if George R. R. Martin is just trying to tell us a story about climate change? What if more children of the Forest are still alive? What does that mean? So yeah, so a lot of those things. What if Euron became king? That would be kind of a wacky episode. What if they melt down the Iron Throne? Would be another one. I don't know about the rumors of April 21st, but I think it's going to be like, it's probably going to be around that time. Yeah, like what if they melt down the Iron Throne and becomes like a round table like an Arthurian legend and Camelot and all that? What if what if Cersei survives the story? Shit like that. What if Jorah becomes the thousandth Lord Commander of the Night's Watch? Or like what if he survives the story and they rebuild the Night's Watch? Or what if the Night's Watch is completely eradicated? What will they do then? Will they just go with the King or Queen's Guard? Stuff like that. So those are the type of videos that are going to be coming on the channel, everyone. I thought that it would be fun to start a new series to kind of do that. Like I said, today is just going to be like a fun, shorter stream. So that's going to pretty much do it for today. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the casting news, and I kind of wanted to get your opinions and what you would like to see next on the channel. So Sandor video will be coming next. We'll do a what if Sandor video, and then in my first what if video, in the comments section, what I'll do is I'll make like a little poll or something like that. I'll give you all a couple of different suggestions or ideas that you can all vote on or something like that. And then that way we can kind of keep it interactive. And then, some people from Patreon, like people that I'm supporting the channel, like Maura Lee, if she wants me to do a specific episode, and she's a huge patron of the channel, we can do special episodes and stuff like that. And then any kind of stuff that we don't kind of get to, we can do more in Q&As, because I will be doing more Q&As that won't be live streams. And yeah, it'll be fun. I want to do more fun videos on the channel. And instead of just saying, yeah, this is my theory, let's present a couple of different cases within a what if, and make it more fun that way, and kind of speculate and get some discussion going and some interaction. So thank you, everyone, for joining today. I know it's a little bit of a shorter stream, but I thought it would be fun to kind of hang out a little bit here on Sunday. Like I said, JR was supposed to join me today, but I decided that we were still going to do a stream today. And like I said, we'll be presenting that new what if video in the next couple of days, and that Game of Thrones Season 8 presenting the case and why will be great. We'll be dropping in the next couple of days as well. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. Thanks, Maura Lee, for the donation. I will see you all in the next video. Pipe and love.